Hi guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at the 1/6 scale Soosoo Toys Herman figure, aka Rorschach from Watchmen. I believe Soosoo Toys are going to be bringing out a comedian as well. However, because of the way I'm diversifying my collection now, I'm not just focusing on Marvel or anything. I just want movie icons, and I've chosen to go with Rorschach from Watchmen because he was one of my favourite characters, not only in the book but in the movie, and also he can represent the whole franchise of Watchmen for me. Now, there have been a ton of reviews on this guy already. Everybody's gone to town reviewing him. There was a massive delay getting him into the UK, but now that he's finally here, I'm going to take a look at him and give you my honest thoughts. Now, this is the packaging. It's a very simple shoebox design. Very nice bit of artwork on the front there with Jackie Earl Haley, picture of him there, sort of nicely painted. And then you've got Herman. I believe this was I believe Herman Rorschach was actually, that was his first name, so the scientist who invented the Rorschach test, which is a nice little touch. I've noticed people putting two R's in there instead of just Herman, which is very weird. But as you can see, the SST 1/6 scale collectible figure, I'm a sucker for fonts, so noticing that down now, I find that font just a little bit cheap. I don't know why, it's one step away from comic book sans for me, but however. Then on the side again, you've got the logos and the Soosoo Toys. And then on the back, you've got yourself all the lovely warnings and blurbs that you've got, not for anyone under the age of 15. And then on that side again, you've got the logo. Then probably up the top, you've got a logo, yep. And then, oh, let me guess, on the bottom, logo, exactly. Okay, that's it, really. Let's just slide this down. Inside, we get this lovely little slip sleeve, and it's got a picture of Rorschach there, looking upwards, shooting his grapnel gun. I believe he was inspired by like noir detectives mixed with a little bit of Batman. That's kind of where the idea for this guy came from. And seeing as I'm a massive Batman fan, and I do like my old school detectives, this works. Okay, when we slide the cover off, you got the figure here, hands, heads, and all the extra accessories. Okay, let's just get him out and have a good gawk at him. Okay, and here he is just straight out of the box. I absolutely love this likeness to Jackie Earl Haley. It's really, really good. From certain angles, it's not as good, but for the most part, I think for a third-party figure, I think this is really, really well done. I absolutely love the paint applications on this head sculpt. All that paint flecking to make the skin look really good. And it also has that slight twinge of ginger. However, I will say there's a weird sort of shading around the hair. As you can see, it sort of bleeds off onto the forehead a little bit, like he's dyed his hair and accidentally got a bit on his skin. I'm not sure if that's deliberate. I mean, it's only because I'm zooming it right in when it's actually standing back here. In fact, you can barely notice it from a normal sort of distance, but yeah, when you're zooming in on it to the camera lens, it can actually look a little bit weird. But I do like the actual little battle damage bits he's got on his face here, like he's had his ass kicked a few times. And then I really, really like this coat. I'm so glad that they apparently this isn't pleather. Now, the only person I've learned or heard that from really is Justin. He said, and he has communication with Soosoo Toys, and they said that they've changed the coat so they didn't put pleather on him because then it will last longer. But I have seen distressed pleather like this before as well. I really like all those little buttons he's got in there. They don't look too big. They're quite size appropriate. And then you come down, you can see looking into the trousers, he's got like that purple pinstripe, which makes him look very much like a Joker, doesn't it? In fact, if we come under, you can see there's a suit underneath here, which I think would work really well for a custom Joker as well. So if you wanted to take this guy apart and actually use him for spare bits for like your own custom figures, yeah, I think he's got a few options there. Coming down, the shoes are okay. They've got a nice little bit of shading in them to make them look sort of really old and like used, but there's not a massive amount of weathering in them. Nice tread on the bottom of the feet. They're very functional. And then looking at some of the accessories, we can see he's got this big sign saying the end is nigh. I would have liked it if there was like a little hole in the stand. You could put this out the back there like this, just sticking out. And he also comes with a little notebook and pen that he uses to research. It's even got journal written on there and imprinted on there with his little logos. Very nice. And he also comes with like a little pencil. Again, very much like the one you used to get with the Hot Toys Joker. Very detailed. You can even see the tip of the pencil there with the lead. Fantastic. It also comes with this small bunch of matches pre-lit with a little bit of a sort of translucent flame coming off the top of them. And then that really helps because here's the bigger version that he holds and it just fires out from the can. So this can here is another accessory, and it just attaches to here, and it just looks like when he's holding the matches, he's blasting out the aerosol and creating a little flamethrower like he does in the film to the cops. And he also comes with this lovely little badge. Look at the detail on that, it's really great. It's even got the little blood splatter across the eye there that happened when the comedian gets thrown out the window. What a lovely little touch. That's such a nice little iconic piece from the comic book and the movie that it really works really well for this. And he has his grapnel gun, very nicely painted. So just this would work well for like a Batman figure as well. And then the grapnel pieces are articulated so they can move out, so you can look like he's just about to fire it, and then sort of scale a building or something. And you can slide this piece out of the front there and then create these two little ones. This is a straight line, and this bit's made of metal, and boom, looks like he's firing this thing out. He's also got a wavy lined one that looks like it hasn't reached full tension yet. Very effective. These look like the kind of things you would get with a hot toy. And he also comes with 3 heads with different variations of the Rorschach test on there. Very nice sort of ink blot sort of designs. I'm thinking maybe this one here, it's kind of my favourite. But they all have that sort of different texture that makes it look like it's a fabric cloth mask. And it's got like sort of little stretches in the corner here to make it look like stretching over his face with his ears protruding. And it's basically the same sculpt is produced 3 times with 3 different prints on the front. And I think that's super effective, and that's how I'm going to show him off. He's always going to have that face mask on. A bit like Batman. Why would you show Bruce Wayne when you can show Batman? He also comes with this hat that fits on the masked heads for when he's actually in full costume. It also comes with a bunch of hands, and this hand here is really good because it's kind of like it holds the spray can, just like that. And then you have the flame just shooting out from there. And he also comes with this base, it looks really good. And then you've got the Watchmen logo in the middle with that little blood splatter up the side, just like the badge. I really wish Hot Toys would take a leaf out of Soosoo's book for some of their bases and use something like this instead of just like a printed piece on a square base. Okay, one of the first niggling problems with this figure I've found is that the head sculpt here has a nice lovely big porthole for that nice lovely big neck peg, and these are much smaller. So I've heard people have been having problems getting these Rorschach heads onto the neck peg because the neck peg is just too big and bulbous to fit the Rorschach head. That's what hairdryers are for, so let's give it a go and see what happens. And another little niggle is that the little lining in here, you can see it's actually going a bit warped and ski whiff inside here because it's kind of stuck in with adhesive. So when you're warming this up to try and get it onto the head, it loosens this stuff up and pushes it upwards, and yeah, it makes it a bit difficult. And here he is with his little makeshift flamethrower. I absolutely love this, it's so much fun. It's excellent. I really like some of the details that Soosoo Toys have actually given you, including the can and this big giant translucent flame. I'm not sure if I'm going to pose him like this all the time. I think it would put stress on the coat, but as it is, it's still quite fun. Now, one of the niggles I've got is that the torso has very, very restricted articulation, and that's mostly because of all the thick clothing on top of it. Not a big deal, but it is something to be aware of if you were planning to purchase this guy. And also, you know, the articulation in the arms are about 90 degrees. They're not double jointed, or if they are, then the clothing restricts it back down to 90 degrees bend. Okay, so here he's just shooting off the grapnel gun, and you can see you can get the arms up far enough that it would be effective. And I do absolutely love the stitching and the tailoring in that coat. The trousers look really nice as well. I absolutely love this little detail here. He has little pockets that you can actually fold his arms down and put them in to make him look like he's sort of like one of those guys walking down the street with his hands in his pockets, looking all moody and noir-like. So that's really nice as well. Okay, this is just a pose of him sort of walking down the street with his hands in his pockets, contemplating, thinking, you know, if he had some rain lashing down on him, that would be even cooler, wouldn't it? And if you just took the badge and just put it down there, it looks like he's just walking towards it, wondering what that is. The amount of articulation he's got, even though it's not great, should be enough for you to get him into some very nice poses that accurately represent the character. Okay, in theory, if we were going to go through and say what Soosoo Toys could have done better, I'm just saying money's no object. Obviously, they've probably done a really great job within the budget that they had. But if money was no object and we were willing to pay anything, what could Soosoo Toys have done to make this product even better? Well, personally, I think they should have given us 3 head sculpts. Not the 3 or 4 we get here, but actually 3 very different head sculpts. Number 1, they should have given us the masked head sculpt, and then they could actually have 3 face plates for that one sculpt. So then you just pop them on and off whenever you want. In fact, that would be more fun. People would find it easier to do. And then you would get a second head sculpt, which is exactly what we got, the Jackie Earl Haley sculpt. And then the third one would be a half unmasked head sculpt with the bottom of his mouth showing out and the mask halfway up his face so that he could eat his beans, you know, in the film when he's sitting in the kitchen and his friend says, do you want me to heat them up for you? And he's like, no, cold's fine. That would have been a really cool head sculpt. But not only that, the little can of beans with a spoon, just him eating those beans, that would have been even better. Honestly, other than that, I really don't think they could have done much more. The fact that you get like the matches with the flame attached is a really nice touch that a lot of companies wouldn't have thought of if they were making this figure. It just wouldn't have occurred to them to make it. So it's nice that Soosoo Toys actually did a bit more of a deep dive of the character and brought us little accessories like that. Not only that, but I really like the stand and I love the clothing. So well stitched, so well designed, and I love the fact that he has real pockets in his coat. That kind of detail just blows my mind. I like this end is nice sign, although I won't be posing in with it very much unless I can drill a little hole in the back of the base and have it sticking out. And my only real gripes are the fact that the portholes in this are a bit too small and they need to be warmed up massively in order to fit on the head. But even then, they can pop off quite easily, and these hands are quite stiff, so you need to warm them up with a hairdryer before you put them on and off in order to make sure you don't snap those wrist pegs. But other than that, guys, go to it. If you can find this guy, I think he's actually being reissued by Soosoo Toys, so he will be coming out later again in the year. So if you haven't pre-ordered him already and you've got that sort of I just missed out feeling, don't worry, there is another batch coming later in the year. So get on your pre-order for that. And that's it. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you do me a favour now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave, I've actually got another Soosoo Toys figure, the Cajun card dealer. He arrived today, so now I'm going to have to unbox him and have a look at that guy as well. I'm really looking forward to that one. Gambit is one of my favourite X-Men characters of all time. Thanks a lot guys. Bye bye.